to ELP Vlogs Episode 1. This is going to be a sort of guitar tutorial for peoria. It's going to be sponsored by Young Lean. Just how you pronounce this beverage from Pennsylvania. Little known fact, it's pronounced Young Lean. But yeah, I'm going to teach peoria. I've got my pedal board set up. My camera's on a tripod, so I can't quite pan down to it, but I'll say the names of which pedals I'm using. So I got my chorus on right now. The chorus is on kind of throughout peoria, for my part at least. I think actually I'm pretty much always on chorus and big muff, so I use big muff without my overdrive on this song because it's super smooth, and this is kind of like a smoother, prettier song, so that kind of sounds like this. Actually, let me turn up my amp a little bit more and get a better sense of what that sounds like. So there's that. But I'll teach the rhythm part really quick. I haven't done the rhythm part for this song in literally like 2 years because Ben was the first person to join ELP, and he kind of immediately took over the rhythm part. The best way I can approximate it with my setup is with a just overdrive. And so yeah, I'll teach that part. I'll teach the basic rhythm part for like the intro and the verse first, because that's kind of what everything is built off of. Then I'll teach the lead part for that, and then I'll go to the chorus, which is totally different. But just for the intro and the verse, the lead part is just a simple kind of like open string thing. You get the low E open throughout this, and your index finger on the 9th fret of the A string, and you're going between the 9th fret of the A string and the 11th fret of the A string. So it's a really simple open string kind of major key thing in E. So the way Ben plays it now in our live shows and in our recording of the song that's hopefully going to come out soon is like this. Which is kind of more rhythmic. And the demo version, which is like much more of a slowcore, like lo-fi thing, so I guess this fits that kind of better. I played it a lot slower. I played it kind of like... But the full band version, it's morphed into a much more kind of driving song. So the way Ben plays it and the way that it's kind of the official ELP version now is like... So that's the first part of the rhythm part of the verse. It's just open E and then 9 to 11 on the A. So there's that, and then it goes to really simple, just a C sharp bar chord and then an A bar chord. So the C sharp bar chord, I start over 9 here, my index finger on the E string, and then I do 11 on the A string and 11 on the D string. So it's a C sharp, it's like... And then the A, really simple, just move that whole shape down to 5 on the E string and 7 on the A and D strings. So it's C sharp. So just really simply, because this will kind of play a role in how the lead part ends up working out. The chords there, it's 2 bars of just E major, and C sharp minor, and A. So those are the underlying chords. It's just the E, we play this thing up here. So yeah, there is that's the rhythm part. I'm just going to check that I'm recording, embarrassingly. I am, okay. Definitely not going to edit that out. Probably actually not going to edit that out. But yeah, that is the rhythm part. I can get my chorus and my muff on, so I can show you how I've been doing the lead part. So, kind of while while this whole thing is happening, I let that go once before I come into the lead part. And that kind of intro lead part, it's all built off the E major. I don't know if this is the fucking pentatonic. I never learned what this shit is called. I just learned, like, this is, like, these are just notes that sound good when you're playing an E major, but it's the scale that starts on this 9th fret. I mean, some guitar players know what I'm talking about and have a much better vocabulary for it, but it starts on the 9th fret, then goes up to 12 on the E string, and then does, like, just a full step on the next couple strings, but... I don't know what that's called, but people will probably know what that's called and tell me in the comments. But yeah, it's built off of that scale. So, main kind of lead part that I play in the intro is this, it's built off of that, so it's, 10 on the B, 9 on the B, 9 on the G. So that's the first part. And that happens during the like E major part of that verse riff. And then when it gets to the C sharp, I keep my index finger here on the 9th fret of the B string, and I put my ring finger on the 11th fret of the G, and I bend up to that, so it's like... So I'm always playing it against this note on the B string, and I'm bending the G up to match that note. Then I'm bending for a little bit, going back to the unbent 11th, and then ending on the 9th on the G. So with the distortion that sounds like... after this note, after I play the 9 on the G, I go back to the 9 on the B. So, bend back to 11, 9, and then end on 9 on the B. And that riff repeats twice, so it's... And then here it does the same kind of, that same pull-off thing, but instead of doing the bend, I go to 12 on the B, and then I go all the way up to 17 on the B, so it's like... Actually, no, I'm forgetting my own song. It's... So again, that's the same thing with the pull-offs over here. But then it goes up to this B note, and then all the way up to the 17th fret, which is an E. And then that's an open E, that's the first chord that I play, that the lead part plays in the verse, and I'll get to that in a second, but I'll show you really quick. I switched this up live a lot. There's this kind of interval at the end of, like, before I play this open E, and I do a bunch of different stuff, so sometimes I do like a... So I do that sometimes. Usually I do that the first time the intro plays, and the intro actually repeats before the second verse, so usually then I do like a... So really quick, those little licks, that's just 17, 16, 14, 12. That's at the end of that riff in the first verse, and then I just slide up to 19 in the second verse. So yeah, that's the little intro part, and this rhythm part's going the whole time, and this continues in the verse, and I'll show you what I'm playing in the verse on the lead. So I'm letting the E ring out, and then I am going to this bar chord, C sharp minor, and this A. C sharp minor, I'm just leaving as is, and I strum once, and then I kind of pick like the high strings and a little arpeggio, and then the A. It's actually like a weird A, so if you imagine like a regular bar chord A here on the 5th fret, I'm with my index finger, I'm leaving my index finger on the 5th fret on the E, but I'm leaving the high E and the B strings open, so it's like, the chords like that, and then I'm also doing the same arpeggio. So I'll show you really quick how I do the arpeggio. So it's like, coroner's reports of drink the antifreeze to stay warm. But a few of us still living here. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we know it's true. So up until that point, I'm kind of playing the same arpeggios, just the C sharp minor, and then the weird A thing with the high E and the B strings open. Like that. The last A in the verse, instead of playing an arpeggio, because Matt, our drummer, does this kind of like lead in with the toms. He's going like, before the chorus starts, he's going like boom, 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 boom. So I like to match that. So the last line of the verse, instead of doing the arpeggio, I kind of lean into that. So I'm more like, yeah, we know the truth. So I strum like the low strings on that chord instead of doing the arpeggio. And sometimes, like, usually I let the E ring out for like those 2 bars, but sometimes I add like the top 3 strings in a little arpeggio, so sometimes it'll be like, but a few of us still living here know the truth. Yeah, we know the truth. I just I don't know, I like those huge chords ringing out with the big muff, and I like adding little arpeggios just for a little flavor. You can't do them too much, but they really accentuate the verse when you add them a little bit, is what I found playing the song live, especially. I kind of have a formula in my head of like when I do the arpeggio in the E, and it's not it doesn't like come to the top of my thinking unless I'm playing the song all the way through. Like I couldn't name a line and be like, oh yeah, I do the arpeggio at the end of the bar here, but like when I'm playing it live, I kind of feel it. But usually it's just kind of when I feel like it needs to be accentuated, I play a little arpeggio in the E, and I try to be consistent with the arpeggios with the C sharp minor and the A. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do during the verse. The first chorus, the parts are exactly the same for the rhythm and lead guitars. I'll play it with the distortion, or without the distortion, with just the overdrive, so it's a little clearer. So the first part of the chorus is just E open, E major. Second chord it's an F sharp minor, but a lot of strings are open. So index finger I put on the 2nd fret of the G, ring finger on the 4th fret of the B, pinky on the 4th fret of the A. So it's like this. So it's an F sharp minor with the low E, the B, and the high E open. I love these chords. You can also move them. Actually, the chorus of Peoria is literally based on the principle that in E major on guitar, you can move these chords up the neck as much as you want. Here, I'll show you really quick. There's this REM song called "Sitting Still" that I kind of learned this from. It just makes use of the F sharp, but it's like. I love that song, and I wanted to build something off of those chords. But yeah, anyway, so it's open E, F sharp minor with a bunch of stuff open, and then just move that whole shape up 2 frets. So index finger on the 4th fret, and then pinky and ring finger on the 6th fret, and that's a G sharp minor. So that first part of the chorus again is E, F sharp, G sharp. And the second part is, imagine playing the E shape A on the 5th fret, that bar chord, and then you're completely leaving off your pointer fingers. There's nothing there, so you have the same strings open. So that's an A kind of suspended thing. And then you move that up 2 frets to where this B would be, but the same strings are open. So again, it's like an E bar chord shape where the B usually is. So it's starting on the 8th fret, but you got the low E, the high E, and the B open, so it's like this. And that's the second part of the main part of the chorus. It's that last open B I like to arpeggiate a little bit, so I'll be like... So that's the first part of the chorus. Second part of the chorus, that kind of driving, heavier part, the first part is just basic bar chords. C sharp minor, G sharp minor, both on the 4th fret, and then A on the 5th fret, so it's G sharp, A, and then the second part is F sharp minor, A on the 5th fret, B on the 7th fret. So again, it's C sharp minor, G sharp minor. Oh, and this, sorry, it's that A with the open E and B. So I put an arpeggio in there when I play it. So I play it like landscape, suicide. And then I do the same thing with the B. Old men and jackals drinking pride. And the chorus just ends there on the E. I hope that was enough of me saying what those chords were. I apologize if it wasn't. I'm not used to making these kinds of videos. Alright, back to Peoria. I think I just taught the basic chords of the chorus. So, got through the intro and the first chorus. Everything's kind of normal there. The first chorus, both guitars are playing that same part. I'm just playing it with the big muff in the chorus, so it sounds more like... It's got that like thick sound. And then the second verse is that very same thing as the first verse. I mean, I let that E ring out at the end of the chorus, and then everyone else picks back up, and then I come back in with this thing, which I already taught. That kind of repeats the same way as it does in the first verse and the first intro, and then the second verse starts. I do the same lead stuff in the second verse. The leprosy has got us all down. Composite structure overflow. Big saints, pale base. Beautiful moments on live TV, live TV. And then chorus. First time this kind of ascending riff happens, I play it exactly the same way I did in the first chorus. The second time it starts, after All Perfect off of Highway 9, so it goes back to the E, and then it's going to do that whole ascending thing again. Instead of playing those chords, I let Ben play those chords, and then I play a little lead part. So I'm doing... a lot of my guitar playing is inspired by Peter Buck from REM, and what I learned from learning a bunch of REM songs is that a lot of the time his solos are just kind of like playing riffs on one string while the next string is open, and that kind of like, it adds a flavor to it, it adds texture to it. So say like, in the song, for instance, I'm playing, it's an E major, so I got the E string, the high E string open, and I'm playing stuff in E major on the B string, so it just adds this cool kind of texture to it, where it's like... But obviously all his stuff is like clean, maybe a little bit of overdrive, but I do it all with like a ton of distortion, which is... I don't know, it's the basis of a lot of like indie rock sounds, I guess, but I tend to look to, I don't know, at least when I think about where I learned that stuff from, it's Peter Buck and REM. But yeah, I'll teach that part of that solo really quick. So again, it goes, play through that ascending riff normally one time, and then what I do, Ben's still playing that riff, but I'm playing on the B string with the high E open. I start on the 5th fret, and I'm playing the root notes of all the chords in that ascending riff. So it's E, peoria, F sharp, peoria, G sharp, and A. All perfect off the highway, B. So it sounds like... And then at the end of that bar, I do a little riff where I go all the way up to 15, and then I do 15, 14, 17, 16, 14, 12. 17, 16, 14, 12, so it's like... and then it goes into the normal, like, that C sharp riff that I showed you guys, that... Landscape, suicide. Old men and jackals taking pride in peoria. And that's the second chorus. The third verse, the Blighted Astronaut, Hear My Cry, is the same chords, same rhythm part as the previous verses, except this time there's no... I don't play that intro at all, just goes straight into the lyrics, and it's kind of the quiet verse, so usually I kind of, I try and get my pick, like, actually no, what do? I get my pick between my pinky and my index finger, and I kind of like thumb strum a little bit, so I'm like... Blighted astronaut, hear my cry. So the lead chords are a little quieter. I like having a quiet verse because the last chorus is the loudest chorus, so I like having that little contrast. Actually, lately with this guitar, this is like a cheap Gibson SG copy that I bought because someone was selling it super cheap, and I'm a Facebook Marketplace junkie, and I wanted a guitar with humbuckers because after I sold my old Jaguar that had humbuckers, I seriously missed having humbuckers. So sometimes this is a lot more achievable, because I've been using this guitar at shows lately. It's a lot more achievable with humbuckers than with single coils, but you get that really nice, with a fuzz pedal, just natural reverb if you just, like, punch the guitar. I know it sounds crazy, but it's like... Blighted astronaut, hear my cry. Though your mother never told you why. Yeah, you get really nice, especially with the chorus. My chorus pedal has like a crazy depth setting, so it acts like a reverb. You get a lot of crazy sounds just from like hitting your guitar, like shaking it and stuff, which I've been doing a lot with this guitar. This guitar's been super good for that. I almost kind of like it more than my Jazzmaster for that reason. I don't know, I could do like a fucking stupid hour-long video where I talk about guitars, but I'm not going to do that in this video because this is just a lesson for one song. So yeah, that verse, kind of quiet chords until the last line where I suddenly get louder, and it's, what's the last line? Jefferson got us all high. Told us you were a Kazakh spy. That Kazakh spy line, I go like full in and I do full arpeggios. I try and play the chords really loud because that's kind of like hyping up the chorus. So it's like Kazakh spy, Kazakh spy. So that's like hyping up the chorus. And that last chorus with vocals, I'm doing like the this lead part that I showed you guys last time. All perfect highway 9. So I do that once, and then I do the similar solo again, except it's slightly different. I start on 5, and then I go down 5, 4, 2, 0. So it's peoria, peoria. Then when I get back to Motel Office Drinking Wine, I actually just go back to the A and the B, so it's Motel Office Drinking Wine. And then I go 17, 19, so it's... So I'll play the whole thing. It's... Last like reverberating E, I do a little riff where I do slide to the 2nd fret, like my index finger on the B, slide to the 2nd fret on the G string, play an open B, and then just go back. So it's like, so that's 1st fret on the G string, 2nd fret on the G string, B string open, and then 2nd fret, 1st fret, and then 2nd fret on the D string. So it's, I fucked up there, but yeah, that's kind of that's where the singing part of the song ends. The outro kind of solo bit is a repetition of the rhythm part is a repetition of the rhythm part, so it's just that. It's just that again. It goes through that equivalent of the verse one time, and then the solo one time, completely instrumental. So most of the band is doing the same thing, except a lot louder. So going through the verse, I think it's that riff 4 times, and then the chorus just once as usual. And then I do a solo. I don't know if the solo is actually teachable, because I don't play the same solo every time, but I'll teach a basic semblance of what I play. I usually land on this one riff during the verse part, which I ripped from a Wilco song. I think it's from Being There. It's called I Got You at the End of the Century. It's a really cool kind of melody that I heard in that song, and I've been like ripping off in major key solos ever since, and it fits really well in this song. But I just take my index finger, I bar the 9th fret on the E and B strings, and I kind of like, I'm picking both, so it's kind of like, and then I go, I take my middle finger and my ring finger and I play this riff on the B string, so it goes 9, 9, 10, 12, 10, so it sounds like 9, 10, 12, 9, 12, 9, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, 10. Actually, I think the Wilco one is like... same basic idea. I just play that riff a bunch, and then when the verse hits, when the chorus hits, I start like doing an actual solo. I usually am just kind of noodling around in that E major scale. I try and start with this bend of the B string 12th fret, then I bend up to the equivalent of the, I guess, yeah, equivalent of the 14th fret while playing it against the 9th fret on the E string, which is kind of like a classic guitar trick. I was like, so I usually start with that bend and then just play some like kind of basic, you know, like country rock, Neil Young type stuff, just in E major, so it's like. Just stuff like that. It's all in that E major scale. Lots of bending. I don't know. I'm more about phrasing than I am about noodling. I'm not a shredder. I like finding notes that sound good and playing them loud and with a lot of reverb. That's why I'm a shoegaze guitarist. I'm not built for shredding. Look at how fat these fingers are. No, I'm not insecure about that. Don't worry. I like my style a lot. But yeah, pretty much just for the duration of most of the chorus, just noodling around in E major until we get to that final part of the chorus, and then I kind of jump back into the rest of the band and I play the chords as usual. I'm talking about that C sharp, that landscape suicide, that C sharp to G sharp minor to A thing. So when the band hits that, I go back with them, play the same chords, except I play them a lot harder because it's the end of the song, so it's. Ever since I got a Big Muff, I've been completely obsessed with the sustain. I actually don't even have it on. Here, let me turn it on. This is insane. Listen to how long the chord will hold if I have the sustain up. Like at this point, I've left the venue. I've gone home. I've gotten all cuddly in my covers. The guitar's still playing a note. It's awesome. I got this pedal relatively recently, but it's changed my whole sound. It's really, really, I think, essential to have a Big Muff. It's Big Muff plug video, sponsored by Electro Harmonics, sponsored by Young Lean. But yeah, that's my attempt to teach Peoria by Emerson Laura Palmer. At least some of the rhythm guitar part and the lead guitar part. I hope this was at all comprehensible, and I hope you all enjoyed the first ELP little bit of content this summer. I'm going to try and make some more of these because I'm really bored, and I enjoy that people like our music. I don't know how to end this thing. Listen to Young Lean. Good night, y'all.